Planning to buy a new cruiser motorcycle? Your options are limited. Among these limited choices, the Royal Enfield Meteor 350 is your best bet. It introduced the new J platform to us a couple of years back and also got the new 350cc engine. After being in the market for a couple of years, Royal Enfield has given it a midlife update. It has got cosmetic updates and some new feature additions. So how have these changes made an impact on the new Meteor 350? Let's ride and find out.
The road to the top is a riddle. What will be my destiny? Money and fame are awaiting, but not enough is raining on me. Maybe I should give it all up. How much more can I take? Out here singing to the heavens. When I gonna get my break? I can run this down.
The new Meteor 350 is offered in 4 variants and there are 7 new colorways. The 4 variants are Fireball, Stellar, Aurora and Supernova. What we have with us is the base Fireball variant and you get a tripper pod as standard. Moving forward on the Stellar variant, you get exhaust muffler finished in chrome and a backrest. Then there is the Aurora variant on which you get a windshield, you get spoke wheels and also adjustable levers. The top spec variant is the Supernova variant in that you get diamond cut alloy wheels. Among these 4 variants, my choice would be the Stellar variant because you get the chrome exhaust muffler and the backrest. And honestly, you don't need that adjustable levers because they are very expensive to replace. So my suggestion would be buy the Stellar variant, save that money and invest in good riding gear. Powering the new Meteor 350 is the same engine as seen on its predecessor, so the power and torque figures are identical. I feel among all the 350s, the Meteor 350 has the sportiest tune and you can feel that in its acceleration and it feels very peppy. Okay, it is not as quick as the Triumph Speed 400, but among all the Royal Enfield 350s, the Meteor 350 feels the most peppiest. Again, the motorcycle feels very easy to ride in city traffic because of the torque on offer. It chugs very well in 3rd gear, making it a very good city bike. The biggest change on this new motorcycle is the addition of a slipper clutch, which means the clutch action is much lighter compared to the older bike. Having said that, the clutch action isn't as light as the Hunter 350 that we had experienced a few months back. But then again, in terms of riding this motorcycle in city, the slipper clutch has made it easier. Talking about highway speeds, the Meteor 350 feels in its comfort zone between 90 to 100 kph. Once you cross 100 km per hour, you can feel vibrations on the handlebar and the foot pegs. Now, compared to the older UCE motor, this engine is supremely refined. Having said that, you feel the bit of buzz at 100 kph and above. So, in terms of cruising also, the new Meteor 350 feels apt because you can sustain speeds between 90 to 100 kph. In terms of city riding, the slipper clutch makes it easier to ride. So overall, the updates have been very good. The styling of the Meteor 350 has been left untouched and that is fine because it still is a handsome looking motorcycle. The round headlight, flared fenders, large fuel tank and curved seats are proper cruiser design elements. However, the base Fireball variant looks a bit odd without the backrest or the windscreen, which makes the Meteor 350 look more appealing. Quality levels of the bike are fine, the panel gaps are tight and nothing rattled on the motorcycle. Switchgear quality felt solid, but I'm still not a big fan of the rotary switches. As mentioned before, there are many new color options to choose from and the bright orange shade of a test bike did attract a lot of attention. Features are limited and you get the same semi-digital instrument console as seen on the older bike. The speedometer is analog and there is a small display to show odometer, trip meter and clock. Surprisingly, the gear position indicator is missing on the updated motorcycle. Tripper pod for navigation now comes as standard across the range and there is also a Type-C USB charger. So time for ergonomics check of the new Meteor 350. First up, the seat height. Seat height is pretty low and accessible at 765 mm. typical of a cruiser. As you can see, I can easily flat foot on this motorcycle. I am 5 feet 10 tall, weigh around 100 kg, and even for shorter riders the seat height shouldn't be of any concern. Now moving on to the riding posture. Now, unlike a typical cruiser motorcycle which has a tall and curved back handlebar, the Meteor 350 opts for a flat handlebar which tapers towards the rider, and the foot peg is front set, so the riding posture, as you can see, is very upright and very comfortable, typical of a cruiser. Even the seat space for the rider is a lot, and I like the seat padding also because it is comfortable. Moving on to the pillion seat, the pillion seat space is a bit compromised, and because this is the base variant, doesn't get the backrest. So my suggestion would be, if you're riding with a pillion rider, go for the backrest as an option, or better go for the Stellar variant because it has two advantages. First up obviously is safety. Second thing is it makes the motorcycle look better. Now talking about the weight, it is on the heavier side at 191 kg, but the fact is that the weight distribution is nice, so you don't feel the weight much when you're pushing this bike around in the parking lot or when you're riding this motorcycle. Yes, you might feel it when you drop the bike because picking up 191 kg will require some muscle. So overall, in terms of the ergonomics and the riding posture, it is very chill, like a typical cruiser. So with respect to hardware also, there is no big change. It is similar to its predecessor. First, let's talk about the handling. The handling of this motorcycle is very predictable. For its length and for its weight, it is very agile in city riding. You don't feel that weight of the motorcycle. Even while you are taking a U-turn, the new Meteor 350 feels very agile and very confident inspiring. Yes, it is not a motorcycle that you will go corner carving on, but if you want to go ride fast around, say, a sweeping corner, the Meteor 350 feels stable and inspires a lot of confidence in the rider. So overall, with respect to dynamics also, the Meteor 350 feels sorted. And coming to comfort, the suspension layout is the same, telescopic fork, twin shock absorber. The front has good travel, so it goes over undulations and bumps very well. Because of the layout, the suspension travel at the rear is less. That's why the ride quality is a bit firm. Okay, it isn't very stiff that we have experienced on some cruiser motorcycles, so you won't be tossed off the seat and it won't break your back. My suggestion would be to go over the speed bumps and the broken roads in a slow speed manner because that allows the suspension to compress and decompress well. And in that sense, even the ground clearance of this motorcycle is good. Even when we went above big tall speed breakers, it never got grounded. So in terms of comfort, yes, it's a bit firm, but it is not bad by cruiser standards. What is bad though are the brakes, because the bite is decent, but there is no feedback through the lever. You have to go very hard for the brakes to actuate. This is an issue that we have seen on other Royal Enfield 350s also, where the braking has been the weak link, and I expect Royal Enfield to find a solution for this sooner than later, because the Himalayan 450, the 650 twins, on those motorcycles the brakes work very well, but somehow on the 350s they are not that good. So maybe the braking could be better. Same thing goes for the dual channel ABS actuation also, because on some loose surface it kind of feels very juddery and the lever just comes in. So maybe in terms of braking there is scope for improvement, but overall in terms of dynamics and in terms of comfort, it's not that bad. The new GST price cut has also helped Royal Enfield and the Meteor 350, as the pricing for this motorcycle starts at 1,91,000, goes up to 2,13,000. So in terms of pricing also, the Meteor 350 is very competitive. And in terms of updates, I think the slipper clutch is a great addition on this motorcycle. Makes the bike very easy to ride in city traffic. Also making tripper pod standard across the range is a good addition in terms of features, because navigation is helpful in the city. The only negative I see on this motorcycle is the brakes, because the brake feel and the bite is not up to the mark. And in terms of quality also, the Meteor 350 is a big step up. The whole J platform is a big step up compared to the older bike, but still there are some loose wires here and there, and in terms of finish levels, it can be slightly better. The Meteor 350 in the end delivers on the front of a cruiser motorcycle, which is offering you good riding comfort. The riding posture is very nice. The grunt from the engine is very good for city riding, and also when you want to tour on the highway. In terms of features also, it is very good. So as an overall package, the Meteor 350 does deliver, and as I said before, the options in the cruiser segment is limited, and among all the cruisers, I think the Meteor 350, especially with these new updates and the price cut, makes it a very viable option. And as I mentioned before, among all the 4 variants, my personal pick would be the Stellar variant because I think it offers great value and you don't want those unnecessary extra features in my opinion. But again, what's your take among the 4 variants? Which is your favorite variant? Do let me know in the comments. And also, what's your take on the new Meteor 350? The updates you think are in the right direction? What is still missed? I think they could have added a better instrument console or added some more features, because maybe that is where the Meteor 350 is slightly lacking. I don't know, because Royal Enfield also wants to be a bit purist in that sense. So what's your take on the Meteor 350? Let us know in the comments, and as always, ride safe, take care.